Hadien bo Chief Election Commission ka ri India wala pen bana pai ba ya ka tarik jong ka jingjit ya kinong mi khmat sa ka yeng dor ba thaw an ka jala Meghalaya ka ban long ha ka phnyo trek bunai rampang man taw snam arjar pulai uba Frederick Kharkongor ba Chief Election Officer ka jala wala pen thep ba ka model code of conduct kala trei kam bat baro ki kam ban plien ni bu mau nong rem baro ki lakun habai kren bat kilat thai khubor ba Frederick loithu ba election commission kal ailat karpang ki ba nong sang snong ka jala Meghalaya ki bala palat ya ka prap house nam shaneng bat kumjuru ya ki brio ki bodon jingduna ha ki khot met lada ki kwah ban thep ya ka vote ka jongki na ïing kila henry ki deipat ban supandap ya ka form khnang ba ki officer kin la ban poi sa ki ïing ki jongki ba kin yo ban thep ya ka vote ka jongki
unknown in respect of Meghalaya for all the 60 constituencies. The date of issue of the gazette notification has been notified as on 31st of January 2023. The last date of making nominations is on 7th of February 2023. The date for scrutiny of nominations is on 8th of February 2023. The last date for the withdrawal of the candidatures has been fixed for 10th of February 2023. The date of poll will be on the 27th of February on Monday, and date of counting has been fixed on the 2nd of March, and date before which all the election process should be completed is on 4th of March. As you know, the term of the House of the Meghalaya Legislative Assembly will expire on the 15th of March, and in Meghalaya, out of the 60 assembly constituencies, 55 are ST and 5 are general. So that in terms of the notifications and the date for the poll. So I would like to once again share some facts with the friends from the press that the total electorate that will go into the polls this time around is 21,61,129, and males number 10,68,801, females in fact account for 10,92,326. So it's a positive note for our state, being a matrilineal state, that female enrollment is also higher than the male enrollment. And we also have 3,844 service electors. In terms of the net increase over the previous electorate, that means the draft roll, it's a 2.36% increase over the last draft roll, and about 13,848 names were deleted from the electoral rolls on account of reasons such as death or shifting of address and so forth. And also the particulars of about 40,700 electors were also corrected. And in this forthcoming elections, we also have 7,478 who are members of the PWDs, the people with disability. I would like to share with you that against the 2018 figures, in the last elections which we had in 2018, we have registered an 18% increase in terms of the electorate. In terms of absolute numbers, there has been an increase of 4,29,062 electors. That is against 2018 figures. So that is an increase of 18%. And in terms of absolute figures, it's 4,29,062. In terms of the EP ratio, we currently stand at 64.53%. In terms of gender ratio, we are very healthy. It's 1022. In terms of the registration or the enrollment in the 18 to 19 age groups, it is also quite decent. It's 81,443. It's almost about 3.5% or more against the total electorate. In terms of the polling stations, in 2018 we had 3,083 polling stations, and now we have increased to 3,482 polling stations. So there's a jump of about 147 polling stations from the last elections. Then in terms of the assured minimum facilities, as has been indicated in the last in the previous press conference by the Honourable Commission, there will be an endeavour to provide all the assured minimum facilities at all the 60 in all the 60 constituencies and 3482 polling stations. So, and there will be special focus on the rights of the people with disability, whereby in addition to wheelchairs and ramps as well as poll volunteers, there will be efforts to ensure that that there will be accessible elections for them in all ways. I mean, there will be the endeavour to ensure that facilities will be provided to them, and also the new feature of Form 12D, as you would be aware, it was used in the last by-elections also. In fact, we had about 300 people with disability who had exercised the option of this home voting and opting to vote from home in Form 12D, through Form 12D. So this time around also, the people with disability, then senior citizens who are 80 plus, they will also be given the option to vote from home, and Form 12D is the form in which they will exercise their options. And right from the date of announcement, up to 5 days after the nomination, they will be given an opportunity to exercise their vote from home. And carefully constituted teams from the district election officers and the BLOs, they will be going to the residents of those people with disability or senior citizens above 80 who opt to vote from home, and they will be allowed the option to vote from home, as it was done during the last by-election. So this facility will also be there this time around, and it is something new that was not there in 2018. Apart from that, the standardized voting compartment this time around will also have self-adhesive stickers on 3 sides of the voting compartment depicting the name of the election, the PCAC number, and name and PS number, and name of the year. Previously it was only on one side. Now this time there will be clear signages on these voting compartments, so that it will be easy for everyone to sort of detect which polling station is numbered with which and polling station details. Apart from that, we will also ensure that the provisions of the Model Code of Conduct will be strictly enforced. There have been a lot of questions and some confusion as to from which date the Model Code of Conduct will be enforced, because the date of notification is January 31st. But as per the rules of the ECI, in terms of the Model Code of Conduct, it will kick in right from the date of announcement. So immediately after the date of once the elections have been duly announced by the Election Commission in New Delhi, the provisions of the Model Code of Conduct will kick in specifically. In what manner it is going to be enforced, I will share with you. So there are different timelines. One standard guideline is that the Model Code of Conduct will be taken to 472 hours during the first 72 hours of the announcement of the election schedule, for ensuring that there is extra vigilance and strict enforcement right up to the close of polls. Now, in what way, in what manner this MCC will operate? Number one is on defacement of property. So, as per the instructions of the Commission, there are 3 types of there are 3 different categories in terms of the defacement of property. One is defacement of government property. So this the district election officers will have to immediately ensure that that they shall be removed within 24 hours from the announcement of the elections, and we're having a video conference with all the DCs also tomorrow, and we will be sharing with them these provisions. Then also the defacement of public property and misuse of public space, this has to be removed within 48 hours. And defacement of private property, this shall be removed within 72 hours. So there are different timelines for the MCC to be complied with by the district authority. Just to clear the confusion, because maybe there may be thinking that everything should be done within 24 hours. But there are a different set of timelines for each different category. Then misuse of official vehicle. Here also there is a total ban of use of the official vehicle by any political party candidate or any other person who is connected with the election, save officials who are performing election-related duties. When I say official, that means it's mainly political personalities. I'm not talking about the members of the bureaucracy, but it's mainly the in political dispensation. And then advertisement also at the cost of the public exchequer. That also is another area. We have already shared a list of these instructions with the state government and also with our DCs for their immediate perusal and also to take cognizance. Then relating to the development and construction activities, within 72 hours of the announcement of the elections, the works which are already started, that can go on. Ongoing works can continue as it has been done in the past, but no fresh work can start after the operation of the MCC. Then of course the expenditure monitoring team, the flying squads and the FSTs which have been trained will also immediately be activated and deployed by the field functionaries, especially at the level of the DOs. Then there will also be a complaint monitoring mechanism that is being set up, and also from time to time we will be also disseminating and meeting the press for any fresh instructions, because several instructions also come in while the poll process has been announced. We also get a set of fresh instructions from time to time. So this in brief is the operation of the MCC. Apart from that, we also have something known as webcasting. 50% of the polling stations, last time around in 2018, we only had 10% of the polling stations which were covered by webcasting. Now, from Election Commission, they have increased the coverage by webcasting to 50% of the polling station. So that means about 1,700 polling stations, in excess of 1,700 polling stations, will be covered by webcast. And those that are not able to be covered by webcast will be covered either by static and video cameras, or they will have micro observers, or there will be some sort of camera arrangement where in the remaining polling stations where webcast is not possible. In terms of the security, as you know, the state asked for 119 companies, but we have got 120 companies from the Election Commission, and out of these 120 companies, initially 30 companies had been deployed, and another 10 additional were also given. So we have 40 companies right now who are already here in the state, and more additional companies will be coming now closer to the polls. In terms of in respect of the observers also, there will be three categories of observers who will be deployed, as has been done in the past. So there will be general observers, there will be expenditure observers, and there will be police observers. And the expenditure observers will be concentrating in those districts which are marked as, or those constituencies which are marked as ESCs, or expenditure sensitive constituencies. So some expenditure sensitive constituencies have been already identified, and the expenditure observers will be focusing their attention on those ESCs. Then in terms of the then we will continue to have targeted voter education and electoral participation programs. In fact, the upcoming National Voters Day is on the 25th of January, so that will be celebrated all over the state with a focus on the theme I vote for sure, nothing like voting. So the theme for the upcoming NVD as well as for the ensuing general elections is I vote for sure, nothing for, if there's nothing like voting, I vote for sure. So that is the theme, and our teams will continue to provide voter awareness on what we call Super 6 on the six main themes, the six main categories that we are focusing on women, on people with disability, on the youth, on EVM and VVPAT awareness, on ethical voting. So these are the essential areas which we call Super 6, and we will be devoting on these in terms of awareness, in terms of focus. And also this time around we will be having 120 all women managed polling stations, and we will be having youth managed polling stations also in some of the polling in some of the constituencies. We will also have youth managed polling stations just to encourage the participation of youth. Apart from the poll volunteers who have been deployed last time around, they will also be deployed in this coming elections as well, and we will be shortly having a meeting with all the youth associations. Apart from that, we have a number of apps which will be deployed for the upcoming elections. One is the voter helpline app. Then of course the NBSP will always be there. There's a Saksham app. Saksham app is for people with disability. They can make requests for marking them as PWDs. They can make a request for new registration, for correction of the EPIC details, for request for the wheelchair, and also it has these accessibility features of for people who are visually or hearing impaired, and these applications are available both on Google Play as well as on the Apple app. We also have the C Vigil, which was there last time around, which is an app which the citizens can download, and it is a GIS based technology, and which has a unique feature of this auto location, and it provides correct information which can be relied upon by the flying squad. In case there is some complaint, they can click a photo or a video on the smartphone by this app, and it will provide a timestamped evidentiary proof of the violation of the MCC and also expenditure. So in a sense, it seeks to try to empower the citizen so that the authorities concerned they can take cognizance of the violation. The prospective voters about the criminal antecedents, and it also allows the citizens to browse the candidate's background and to know more about their candidates. Then of course, closer to the counting, there will be a voter turnout app which will be launched, and also for the candidates, of course, we have the Suvidha app and the Garuda app, which is mainly candidate specific, and of course we have this electronically transmitted postal ballot system also, which will transmit postal ballot through electronic means, and also in terms of EVM and VVPAT, we have sufficient number of EVM and VVPAT at the rate of 150% per constituency, per polling station, and so we and all these and 2 rounds of first level checking have already been done, and we have sufficient stock of in terms of BUs as CUs as well as the VVPAT, and this time around we will be using the M3 variety of EVM VVPAT, and apart from the features that were already there in the previous EVM VVPAT, which means that if there is any attempt to do any manipulation, it will go back to the factory reset mode. Apart from that, the new features that are there in this M3 VVPAT is the feature of mutual authentication amongst all the components. That means if you try to replace one BU with another control unit which has not been paired previously, it will not work. And also they have automated self-diagnostics. That means that itself, these EVM machines, they themselves will give a report about the functionality of the machines, so that we know that they're working perfectly. Then also they have a battery life prediction, in the sense that you know how much battery is left, so that gives time for the presiding officer and the sector officer to replace the battery in case it is required. So we've also noticed that in terms of malfunctioning in the FLC, in terms of the malfunction, it has come down very less, and our teams are already on the field who are doing EVM and VVPAT awareness for those voters who have not been exposed to EVM and VVPAT. Of course, quite a number of them have voted in EVM VVPAT in the last round of elections that we had, as recent as the last by-elections. So now our teams are on the field. They are undertaking EVM and VVPAT awareness as well. Apart from that, counting, as you know, will be on March 2nd, and all the strong rooms in all the 7 districts have already been identified, and we have sufficient arrangement being made for all the counting centers at all the counting areas. So all the counting centers in all the districts remain the same. Slight change is there in East Khasi Hills. They will not be in the badminton court, which was there in the last elections, but they will be there next to the basketball court. So that's the only slight change. Otherwise, in terms of the arrangement, it's all the same. A few interesting features about this coming elections is that we'll try to have a few model polling stations which will use eco-friendly material, as we had done in the last Shela by-elections. So we will be having some model eco-friendly polling stations which will use which will not use single-use plastic, and which will use material which is eco-friendly. And we will also ensure that that the first-time voters, they will be recognized with a certificate and some medals, as we did last time. This is an option which has been given to the senior citizens. If they choose to vote to vote at home by filling in Form 12D, then they will be entitled to vote from home as per the provisions. But if they instead choose to come physically to the polling station, then they can choose to come physically to the polling station without using Form 12D, without the arrangement of having home voting.
But if someone wants to assist such person,
yeah, there is no harm. The choice is theirs. This is another additional measure that the Election Commission has extended to make it easy for senior citizens above 80 and for people with disability. Should they wish to vote from home, then they can exercise that option via 12D. But in case they still want to come physically to a polling station, there is no, there's no bar, but they will lose that option of voting from home.